Hello, everybody. Welcome to Elevating Your Life. And today we are going to elevate again. And we're going to be talking to an amazing author who just wrote a fantastic children's book that I just fell in love with. Can't wait to share it with grandkids. We have with us today Alexa Kober. She is the author of Dally, and the dog with the alligator tail. Oh, it's so fun. And during her MFA program, she studied fiction, nonfiction, and poetry. This book is the first of an eclectic mix of many publications for children and adults of all ages. She looks forward to sharing her writing with the world and creating a community where her readers can relate to one another. I love that. And I love your book. Love your thing. Well, first off, welcome, Alexa.
Thank you so much, Paula. I'm so happy to be here today.
Oh, I'm just thrilled to have you, dear. This great book. Well, let's start with some of your background and what kind of triggered you to jump in and create this great book.
Of course, yeah. So as you read in my bio, I have my MFA in creative writing. I started off at Sacred Heart University and I got my BA in English and then my MFA at Adelphi. So I've always been attracted to words. I've always loved stories. I love writing. I love the way that books kind of connect us to one another. And so, when I was in my second year of the MFA program, I was diagnosed with an arrhythmia, a certain type of tachycardia that just kind of made me feel really super different from my peers. And, for a while it was just an uphill battle. But when I realized that everyone is different in their own way, that really helped me kind of recover from the anxiety that I was feeling about this. And I was like, there are so many children out there who are facing very similar struggles and challenges, whether it be health adversities or just kind of coming from a diverse family or something like that. There are so many young people who can kind of relate to what I went through. And the trouble in it is that a lot of us think that we're alone when there are so many people out there like us.
Yeah.
And so I really felt that Dally was necessary to create. She kind of came to me in a dream and I was like, this is exactly what it feels like, Uh, yeah.
And I have to tell you what came to me when I started reading your book. I have a lazy eye. And as a kindergartner and first grader, I had to wear a patch on one eye. So I went to school and with all the other kids, and I was the girl with a patch on an eye.
Right.
And, and it just, really made me think and remember that, I've got something different. How's that going to make me feel? And how do I,
Right, absolutely. Well, when I was first diagnosed, I had to wear a Holter monitor under my shirt, and it was this like tiny device that just blinked an orange light, and it was just kind of like, oh, this is like my alligator tail. You know what I mean? Like this is something that makes me feel so different that I think everyone is going to notice about me, and it's just going to diminish the light that I can share with the world. But there is really a light inside of all of us, and a lot of that light comes from our differences.
yes, yes. And
Yeah.
it's so true. And our differences is what makes us special and unique. So did the thought of the alligator tail, did that come to you in the dream?
Yeah, it did.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, Dally,
So
Dally
fun.
was really nervous on her first day of school, and I just saw this, petrified puppy with like an alligator tail, and I was like, oh my God, she has nothing to be afraid of, you know? So yeah, and I'm sure I showed you this before the call, but this is a stuffed animal that my boyfriend made for me of Dally. And it's just so important to have that physical reminder that, this is a message that I was able to channel into this book for children. And I hope that this message reaches as many people as possible.
Yeah. And it's such a beautiful and important message. And it's a message so great for children And it can really, it's a great message for adults too, to remind us that it's okay to be different and not be just like everybody else. And, don't be afraid, just be you. And it's a beautiful message. So basically you had the dream, and then did you just kind of say, oh, I think I should write a book?
Well, my dad was really pushing me to write a book about this. He was like, this is a book. What are you talking about? And so I tend to dilly-dally on projects and not really see them through too often. And so he was like, okay, you have until Sunday. You're gonna get this on like the kitchen table for me. And I was like, okay, we have a deadline. We have like, a project to work on. Let's get it done. And so the writing process for this book was so quick. It was over in like a week or two. And then from there, I had to find my illustrator, and she is fabulous. So I found her on Upwork. She's actually in Palestine, and she's such an awesome person to work with. So I still kind of keep in contact with her until this day. And when there is a second Dally, knock on wood, because I'm looking for this to be a series, I want her to do the second book with me as well.
Yes, yes. And, coming up with the idea at the end of the book to have like some coloring book pages, that is brilliant, because the kids are going to love that.
Yeah. So, I have some of these coloring pages in there. And I just thought there are so many teachers who are going to use this in their classrooms, and to be able to kind of like photocopy some of these pages and just hand them out to kids when you read the story to them, I think that's really special. That way it makes it a little bit more interactive for them as well.
Yes, yes. And I personally, from a mission trip I went on years ago in Africa, I have some schools that I support and orphanages. And I've talked to some of my people, and I'm going to be sending some of these books to Africa.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much.
Those kids are going to love it. They're going to love it. So,
thank you.
And it's just such a great book for kids and for people. And so what are you thinking though for a series? Is it still going to be Dolly, and Dolly's just going to have some adventure or something? Share a bit of what you're maybe thinking on that for your series.
Okay, so I already kind of have the idea. So the second one is going to be Dally the dog with alligator tail and Leo the lion fight with the monster. So Leo the lion is one of the characters in the book. And, during the classroom scene, they all kind of go through what their differences are. And Leo's issue, or Leo's difference, is that he hasn't found his roar yet, right? So during this, like, not necessarily a battle, but like, during this thunderstorm, he's going to find his roar. And I think that in this story, we're going to try and like incorporate the use of a mantra. So I'm sure you've heard of mantras before. You do so much work with wellness and spirituality and things like that. And so I think it would be really nice to kind of like incorporate this mindfulness skill, so that way children learn to use it from a young age when they're feeling scared or, anxious about anything.
Oh, what a great idea. Great idea. And so every book in the series is going to be like incorporate a little something that those kids can take in and help them with, different things in life, and what comes across and what they deal with just life stuff.
Yeah. I've had to learn so many of what I know about mindfulness and, recovering and coping with anxiety through experience. And I wish that someone had handed me a book like this when I was younger.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of why I'm creating this series.
And helping them, giving them ideas and helping them and showing, the love and caring that the book does, helping them cope with difficulties or things that may struggle. That's just a huge gift. That really is.
Yeah. Well, I really do hope that it reaches as many people as possible, because it's a gift that I wish I had when I was younger.
Yes.
Being
Yeah.
able to recognize certain things that scare us and also knowing how to cope with them.
Yeah. And I would love to see this in all the schools. Oh, wouldn't that be beautiful?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I had a daycare for several years when I was running my restaurant, just to be with the kids during the day. I did daycare and then I went off to work the, evening and weekend shifts. But
Wow.
we did a lot with books, coloring. That's huge for kids.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, the time to do that and it's a beautiful idea. And you're actually also considering writing some books more for adults, fiction
Yeah,
books. Tell us about that too, what your thoughts are.
of course. So I have a couple of different things that are kind of in the mix. So because I got my MFA at Adelphi, I was able to study nonfiction, fiction, and poetry. And so right now, I've kind of been working on a Hades and Persephone collection of love poems, and it kind of like narrates what it's like for them when Persephone goes back to Earth. Then it's just kind of like a modern love story between the two of them. And it's been really nice to kind of return to that on a daily basis or every other day, just because it's not so heavy. You know what I mean? I feel like in terms of writing novels, there needs to be a certain amount of time that you can dedicate to them each day. And because I work a full-time job right now, it's been a little bit difficult to kind of fully tackle that.
Yeah, so you're just going to do little tidbits at a time.
Yep.
And these are going to be poetry books.
Yes. So this first collection that I'm working on is going to be like a poetry chapbook. I'm envisioning like 40 pages or something like that. And so that's going to be for adults. And I have a couple of ideas in terms of novels that I've been playing around with thus far. And I haven't really landed on one. So the thing with me in writing is I just kind of like have multiple things on my plate at the same time. But one that I'm about 70 pages into is called Out of Time. And so it is about a girl who is in college and she is diagnosed with the same heart condition that I have. And so she is kind of balancing a love triangle between her best friend from back home and also her new boyfriend that she met at college, and also going through all of this change at the same time.
Oh, wow. That sounds fantastic.
Yeah, so I definitely have to get back to writing that because I also think that that is something that young adults need in their life.
And you're going to be able to pull in kind of some of your experience and your feelings and what you felt and steps you've taken.
Mhm, mhm.
Oh, that sounds absolutely fascinating. When do you expect that to possibly be published?
So NaNoWriMo is coming up. NaNoWriMo is in November. And so hopefully if I can just kind of discipline myself, I can have a first draft done by January. And then maybe in the summer I can get that one published.
I love it. I love it. Okay, I have to ask, what's NaNoWriMo?
So NaNoWriMo is National
NaNoWriMo.
That's okay. So NaNoWriMo is National Novel Writing Month. And I haven't
I
done
didn't
it.
know that.
Yeah. So every year there is a group of people who basically challenge themselves to complete an entire novel in 1 month. And so a lot of people prep beforehand and do like character building and story building and things like that. And then as soon as November 1st hits, they just kind of like break loose and they bang out as much as possible.
That is so fun. Oh my gosh, that's okay. Because I'm working on another book. It's like, okay, that might trigger me. So you might
Yeah.
have just triggered me.
Yeah, definitely. So I haven't done it myself yet, but I think I might take advantage of that community this year and just try and
Yeah,
finish this book as well.
yeah, yeah. So how long has that been going on? How fun is that?
NaNoWriMo, I'm not sure how long that's been going on. I think it's been around since at least I was a teenager. So
Mhm.
roughly 10 years or so.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, this is so exciting. This is really, really exciting. And Dolly, the book is just so amazing and such a great thing for kids. Wow. It's going to be really fun to share it and see the world get more of it. Gosh.
Yeah.
So is there anything else you're working on or any, goals you're thinking to do moving on from this?
Hmm. Let's see. Well, I obviously want to continue to make Dali books and make this a series
Mhm.
moving forward. And then aside from that, I think my main goal is to just keep writing and keep creating.
Yeah.
Um, when you set so many goals and hard deadlines on writing, I feel like it becomes almost mechanical when it's meant to be very natural.
Mhm.
Um, and also, so many different life changes get in the way from between you and your writing schedule and things like that. But if I were to have one goal moving forward, it would be to be a more disciplined writer, and release at least one published work or two published works each year.
Yes, yes. And I'm thinking that as you get more and more books out, there's just going to be more demand coming at you. Write more. We love it. Write more.
I certainly hope so. I was in conversation with one of my mom's friends who's a school teacher, and she actually used Dali in the classroom, and she was being observed one day by a college professor, and he was like, "I love this book. When is the second one coming?" And
Oh,
I was like, "Oh my goodness." So, I think there are a lot of people in education who are noticing how important this is for the socio-emotional growth of
yeah.
children. So I'm hoping to get this into more classrooms and more schools. Um, and you know, I'm
It's
always
going to
open
be
to talk
fantastic.
to teachers and
Because
things
it
like
is a feel good book. I mean, it's good energy. It's great information, how you worded everything. It's so fantastic. And then, the pictures are so fun. Oh my gosh. I can't wait to see Leo the lion.
that. No, I mean, honestly, if Dali got picked up as a movie or a TV show, that would just make my dreams come true.
Yeah,
Um,
that would be
because
fantastic.
everything now is kind of on the screen. There
Mhm.
are children who still love reading, but I feel like there's so many kids who are on their iPads or like are craving video,
Mhm.
um, instead of the written word. And I so wish that that could be a thing for them as well.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. A show, Dolly the dog with the alligator tail. Wouldn't that just be so cute? Oh my gosh. I could see. There you go. Put that out there. Let's, source, bring it on.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Uh,
that's a fantastic idea. I mean, it's just opening a door. And so, how did you feel with getting your first book published? What was that like for you? How did that feel? I mean, for
I was,
someone out there who's like, I want to write a book, I've wanted to, I've thought about it for years. What was that like to do that?
I was very ecstatic at first. I think there was a little bit of nervous energy in the air because I just wanted people to like it so much. You know what I mean? I definitely needed validation from other people when I published this first book, and I needed to know that it was what people wanted to read.
Yeah.
Um, but it was also very liberating in that I'm a published author now. Like the first one is already out, and so I can kind
Oh,
of continue to create and continue to share my work with the world, knowing that I already kind of have a following behind me. And so that's very liberating, knowing that at least if I screw the next one up, this one was very successful. Um, and so, having that power back in your hands and knowing that you can create and relinquish something to the world, um, is just amazing. Yeah,
oh,
there
that's just,
are words.
yeah, that is just great, great. wisdom to someone out there, because with talking to so many people, there are many people out there who have, longed to write a book and, just a little nervous about it or afraid to take that first step. And that is some really great words. Yeah. And what's fun is like what you said, you something came to you in a dream.
Right.
I remember with my book, I would be, sitting at a red light or, doing something, and it was like, oh, that's something I want to talk about in my book. So
Right.
it can just come to us when we just open up for that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think keeping an open mind to new ideas is something that you have to do as a writer. And it's not only dreams, but just kind of like taking inspiration from day-to-day life. You overhear certain conversations or you see something that might be useful in your writing. Take note of that. It's okay to kind of like use the notepad on your phone or carry around a notebook and just say, this was a great idea. And if you don't use it right away, at least it's there for you if you ever need to use it. So, yeah.
And it's never too late to do it.
Yeah.
I remember in high school taking English class and in college, and it's like, oh, I'd love to write a book someday. It took till I turned 60, but I finally did it, and it feels good.
Yeah.
And anybody can do that. And what's so great, I think, is when we do create a book or work on that, it's such creativity in us that opens up.
Mhm. Mhm.
And
Yeah.
that's a beautiful thing.
It's just crazy, the writing process when you're really doing it right and you get into the zone. It's like, you create something that you don't even remember doing. It's almost like a part of you, a spirit in you takes over in the creative process, and you get to witness the work firsthand for the first time after it's done too. So it's great. I've always loved writing. I think that writing is such a great outlet. And in this case we're talking about publishing, but there are so many people who are just afraid to pick up the pen and start writing, and it's never too late to do that either.
I love it. I love it. Well, with a few minutes left in the show, what last words do you want to share with us, dear?
That is let's see. I think the big message, or the two big messages that I want people to take away from this talk, is that one, our differences are what make us unique. And everyone needs to know that, big and small. And our differences are not what isolate us, but what connect us to other people. And two, if you were thinking about writing, or if you were thinking about publishing one of your works, do it.
Do it. Yeah. Yeah. Let your creativity come through, because it is a great experience, isn't it? And it's something wonderful, because I really believe, I know it's been with me my whole life. I've been someone that loves reading books. You gain so much in the information and how you feel, and books are a beautiful thing. Writings are a beautiful thing, I believe.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it just transports us to a different place where we're not in the present moment, but we're in this story. And watching someone go through a struggle or a journey of some sort, and hopefully when we step away from that work, we've taken something with us, and that's what true writing does.
Yeah. And it's a gift to others. It really is. It's a beautiful gift to others. Oh, well, I am just so thrilled to have met you, dear. And I'm so thrilled to have a copy of your book and be able to share it. And I look forward to all the other things you're going to create. And thank you for your huge heart and your caring. I love it.
Thank you. This has been a great conversation. I'm so happy that you had me on your show, and thank you so much for sharing my book with your grandchildren and the children that you work with in Africa. That's so big.
It's going to be really special. I'm hoping to get back over there in the next year or two. It was really a special thing. And children are, all over the world, children are just children, and little things can just do so much for them and brighten their days and help them feel loved. And yeah. Oh, well, thank you so much, Alexa. This has been great. Love, hugs, and blessings. And to everyone out there, love, hugs, and blessings. Thank you so much for being with us today. I will chat with you again soon.